How's it going, all my tacticians? Welcome to another video from yours truly. We're talking about the one, the only, the pseudo legend of Generation 8. I should have done this video a lot sooner. Just considering how popular this Pokemon is, especially not only in VGC, just in general. It's just a very, very powerful pseudo legend of all the pseudo legends. And, it's not hard to see why, as I'll explain in this video. We're talking about Dragapult today, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can use this dragon, what is it, what is it based on? Is it based on a stealth bomber of a dragon? In which case, that is awesome. Talk to you about how to make use of this Pokemon on your team. First of all, this Pokemon is super fast. I mean, super fast. None, and I mean none of the other pseudo legends even compare to the speed of this dragon. I'm serious. None of the others can compare. They just cannot catch up or keep up with this thing. Like even a Dragon Dance, I think, from a Garchomp cannot keep up with it. You need priority to outspeed it. And even then, let's just talk about what it does. So, first of all, like I said, the way the Dragapult you're going to be wanting is to run a speedy boy, a speedy girl, whatever you want to call it. Gabrielle here is a speedy girl, so she's going for the jolly nature. Gonna go for maximum speed and physical attacking power. There you go. Gonna go for clear body here. The reason why I'm going for clear body is because I'm a physical Dragapult, so clear body will help protect me from any, or stat negating effects, etc. So I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to suffer any, like say if my opponent uses a Dynamax move that reduces my stats in some way, not going to affect me because of my clear body. Ups and downs. Prevents me from lowering any of my stats, but that's it. That is it. It's only effective if my opponent is, going for any stat negating effects, etc. There is another ability that is slightly more useful, especially if you're going to be, running a standard, standard Dragapult, especially in the special attacking form. This Pokemon is actually a very powerful special attacker. I'll explain that in a bit. But for the movesets, one thing that I'm going to be recommending is a very, very straightforward and throwing everything to the wall kind of Dragapult. Making use of my stat, making use of my speed stat, making use of the strong physical attack Dragapult offers, as well as the unique moves that it gets. So first of all, Dragon Darts. While it is a, a two-hit move, Dragon Darts is unique in how it operates. So, first of all, if your opponent is in a doubles format and you're throwing out a Dragapult out there and it knows the move Dragon Darts, you can use Dragon Darts and hit both Pokemon with a single attack. Or, if, and I mean this, if your opponent is either protecting on one Pokemon or is a fairy with one of their Pokemon, Dragapult will bypass the Pokemon that is either protecting or the fairy type. Doesn't matter if you target the fairy or the Pokemon that protects. It will change targets and launch the 2-Dreepy and hit the Pokemon that is not, fairy or not protecting for both attacks. So that is a very unique ability. It means it can focus down one target if the field lets it. Otherwise, it's going to hit both at the same time, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. This Dragon Darts is a very powerful Dragon-type move. Sucker Punch! There's nothing else to say about Sucker Punch. It's a powerful, priority move that's Dark-type. You don't really have anything bad about it. Just throw it onto a Dragapult. And that's pretty much it. Just throw it on Dragapult, and hey, now you get some priority to go with your speed. Psychic Fangs. The reason why I'm using Psychic Fangs on my Dragapult is to help counter the, the priority light screen reflect spam. So there's a lot of prankster grim snarls out there. A lot of them just run, fake out shenanigans and then try to set up light screens, etc. Psychic Fangs will break through them and deal full damage. So, yeah, they can set up a light screen reflect, but I'm gonna move fast, I'm gonna move after you, and I'm gonna break that barrier down, and then I'm gonna knock out the Pokemon you weren't protecting, or you were trying to protect, etc. That is the game plan with my Dragapult. Finally, Phantom Force, strongest ghost physical option that, Dragapult has. That's literally it. Problem is, it takes a turn to set up and then hit your opponent the next turn. It's a good way to help stall out, Trick Room teams if your opponent is going for a Trick Room. So you can stall that out and make them regret their life choices if they try to set up the Trick Room in your face. Problem is, you're only going to get away with that one turn. After that, your Dragapult is kind of in trouble. So hopefully you have that sucker punch so that you can finish them off just in case. Now, as for natures, like I said, this Dragapult started with an Adamant nature. You can run Adamant nature, but most want to run with the Jolly nature just for the speed boost. Like seriously, in Dragapult v Dragapult battles, everyone is running a Jolly nature or timid nature just because of that speed tie. Very few run the Adamant nature or the modest nature, but I've seen a few run them. And they can be very scary if not taken care of quickly. Now, let's talk about stats like I said before. Let's talk about those stats. Now, obviously, this is a bit of an odd cropping here. So, 1 second, there we go. So, we're going to talk about the stats. Like I said here, as you can see, there is that speed stat, like I said, 142, among the highest of all Pokemon in the game. Like, I think Pheromosa barely outspeeds, like seriously, barely outspeeds by like 7 or like 9 points, give or take, I think. Like, barely outspeeds, I think, yeah, barely outspeeds Dragapult. As for its physical attack, 120 is nothing, and I mean nothing to make fun of. That is a very strong attack, especially for a pseudo legend. All pseudo legends love to have that kind of firepower for them. As for a special attack, 100, nothing to scoff at either. Very powerful special attack stat. Not as powerful as its physical attack stat, but it has options. There's a reason why it has the 100 stat. As for its defenses, they're, kind of on the average size, or on the average side. They're not that impressive, but you know what? That's not what Dragapult is about. It's a glass cannon, and it wants to be treated as such. It wants to be respected. It wants to be feared. It wants to get in there, deal a ton of damage. And if you Dynamax it, those defense stats, may not be that impressive, but it will at least endure some more hits. Now, as for the movesets, like I said, I was talking about those earlier. It doesn't get access to a lot of very good, ghost type physical moves. If it had like or not Dragon Claw, Shadow Claw, perhaps that would be better. But the only, real good, physical ghost type move that it gets access to is the Phantom Force. So maybe when they release when they release the move tutors, maybe Dragapult will get access to something like Shadow Claw, or maybe you'll get something else, I don't know. But either way, it gets access to a lot of very high powerful physical moves naturally, and a few TMs. It has options there such as Steel Wing. I don't know why you'd want to run Steel Wing, but if you're gonna go for like a try to set up, if you're going for Dynamax, you want to use that physical move to just absolutely say, get out of my face, fairies. Well, there's your option there. You also have access to Fly if you want to run Fly, similar to Phantom Force, takes a turn to set up. But if you're going for, like, say, Dynamax, you can use that to increase your speed even more, etc. There's acrobats down there. I don't know why you'd run that, but whatever. Same thing. Breaking Swipe, a decent, physical attacking dragon move, but hey, it's not Dragon Darts. It hits both Pokemon, but Dragon Darts is the better option in my choice. Now, I was talking about special attacking Dragapult. You may notice you don't get a lot of access to special attacking moves naturally. So this sets people off at first. It learns a ton of physical attacking moves, but not a lot of special attacking moves. They're like Infestation. Who runs that? Dragon Breath? Yeah. Hex? Yeah. I mean, maybe if I have a priority prankster with Thunder Wave, perhaps. But we're not talking about the moves that learns naturally. We're talking about the TMs and the TRs. Now, like I said, first ones, TM, you don't get a lot of good options. Brine, it's meh. Solar Beam, that's a really powerful, grass type move if you're running it in the sun, etc. But we're talking about, just ignore the sound effects in the back. Just making sure the Switch doesn't do stuff. We're talking about the TRs. You get access to dozens of really good special attacking TRs. First off is Flamethrower. This helps counter Ferrothorn spammers, etc. You get access to Surf and Hydro Pump. Both of them very powerful. You can also get access to Skull down here, so that's a good TR if you want to use a special attacker. You also get access to the Thunder and the Thunderbolt. Both very powerful electric attacks. You get access to Fire Blast if you want to run that gambly kind of Dragapult. You get access to Shadow Ball, a powerful stab move. Not as powerful as as Phantom Force, but it's a lot faster, and you can hit two of them at the same time. And if you need a Dragon Stab move, you got access to Dragapult or Dragon Pulse. Oh my goodness, I said Dragapult again. And of course I mentioned Scald already. You also get access to some interesting shenanigans. You can go for an ally switch if you want to mess with your opponent, but it's not really it's not really that impressive. And if you're running a singles Dragapult, you can get access to the Baton Pass. So if you want to Dynamax your Pokemon, set up those stats, etc. You can go set up your Fly here for your speed. You can set up the Steel Wing for the defensive boost, etc., etc. I don't think it gets access to like a fighting type or a poison type move. No, it does not. So I don't know why I mentioned that, but hey, maybe you can come up with an idea. I don't know. I'm just giving you ideas. Now, as far as egg moves go, not a lot of good ones that it really wants to learn. Like the only really good one it gets access to is Sucker Punch, but that is a move it learns naturally as a Dragapult. It gets access to Confuse Ray. There's like some kind of shenaniganry going on there. You have access to Curse. So like say if your Dragapult is gonna die, it's not gonna do anything this turn, but you want to really mess with your opponent and really fluff them over, and you're willing to sacrifice your Dragapult, you can give your Dragapult Curse, mess with them that way. Disable, not sure why you'd want to just do that. Dragapult is not a Pokemon that can take hits. So why would you do that? I don't know. Double Team, like for those of you who just really don't like or just really want people to suffer. Dragon Tail! I don't know why you'd want Dragon Tail on Dragapults, but maybe in the niche kind of setting of, hey, I want my opponent is going to set up, and I don't want him to. Maybe I'll just set up a Dragon Tail just to be on the safe end. You never know. Maybe you never know. Or you never know, perhaps. Grudge, why would you want Grudge on your Pokemon? It's not exactly a tanky enough Pokemon to be able to, endure anything like that. Like I said, it doesn't learn it doesn't really learn any good moves. It doesn't learn any good moves naturally. Or, as egg moves. It's mostly about the TMs and the TRs. Now, we're going back to our lovely Dragapult here, lovely Gabrielle. And as you can see here, last off the item selection, I'm gonna just recommend either a choice band / specs if you're running a physical or special attacker, or the life orb. Nothing wrong with either of these. But I did see someone run a weakness policy Dragapult. So there is that option if you really want to go for that. I hope you all enjoyed, learning about this Dragapult. I hope you all, make use of the Dragapult in your teams. It's very powerful. It's, it's no Garchomp in terms of being able to just do everything. But it's certainly, it's almost like Pheromosa in that, yeah, it's not gonna take many hits, but it's sure gonna make you pay for every second you leave it on the field. That's how I see it. Like, the first time I saw it, I was just dying left and right. Nothing I could do to stop it. And when I finally got Dragapult myself and I learned more about it, it's not that scary anymore. And now I have ways to fight it. I'll see you all next time for more shenanigans. Bye-bye!